Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our first AGT performance reaction of the season. Season 15 is right around the corner. It is starting on Tuesday. It's about time. Let's just start with that.
I've been so excited for this season, and I know it's going to be a little bit different, but I'm very excited. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we're going to talk mostly about Archie Williams and his audition and his story in this video, but let's just sort of get it out of the way. We have no idea how this season is going to work. I know that there were auditions that were filmed. I would assume that they would do something like judge cuts. I don't know if it's virtual. I have no idea. But
yeah, we're not sure. We did just watch Idol and Voice, and both of them had at-home performances and stuff. It's hard to know what's going to be actually happening by the time they get around to that.
But, at least we know we have a show now, and if you're going to give us your first, really big, long-form audition preview of the season, it might as well be a guy like Archie Williams, who I think embodies a lot of what AGT sort of looks for. So we're going to break all of it down here, but before we do, if you do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We have a lot of AGT coverage coming all season long. We want you guys to be a part of the discussion and a whole lot more.
So one of the things that I really like about AGT, that I also really like about Idol, but AGT also does a very good job of this, is finding a way to let us really get to know contestants. They do take time on the contestants that feel like they're gonna maybe go a little bit further or have really interesting stories, people that we can really get behind.
I think Archie really fits that bill. I think you look at him and he is a very good singer, but also someone who has a very, very unique story. And I think we have all been conditioned to almost feel numb to a lot of the typical singer stories we get on this show, such as, I'm very, very nervous, I do this in my room all the time, or this has been my dream for many years, I gave up my dream for many years. We've all heard those.
Yep.
But with Archie, we're talking about a guy who was wrongfully imprisoned for more than 3 decades. This man has been in prison longer than I have been alive. That is just, it's shocking, it's horrifying to me that sort of thing can happen. And I think there's obviously a larger conversation to be had about the justice system and the problems that are out there. And Archie, if nothing else, is sort of bringing that back in the front of mind while also sort of showing this is what I can do. This is sort of how I'm going to try to overcome what I've been through. It certainly doesn't, take away what he went through, but it's a chance for him to actually showcase what it is that he is so naturally gifted at.
Yeah, and I think that it's an important conversation that needs to happen because it is still happening. And him being on the America's Got Talent stage and sharing his story with millions of people, this is a really good way to get that conversation happening. And, it's going to take a while to work out the kinks of the justice system. This is not going to be the end of the road for things that shouldn't be happening, but we should all be having these conversations, and I'm really glad that he's on the show.
They're bringing them to, I think, people who probably, maybe they're aware of the issues going on in this country, but maybe it's not something they actively think about or discuss because they don't usually see it on, family television at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday nights or in this format. And I think he comes on, he brings that. I mean, the moment that you hear his story and what he's gone through, it's one of these situations where you kind of know that he's going to be good because they're not going to put somebody on here with this sort of story and then have them be terrible. They're not going to embarrass someone like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. He has a really good voice. And it's, for me, when I heard him singing along with his story, it makes his voice even more powerful because his story is really powerful. So then you put that voice to that story, and it brings more out of that voice.
I think because this is the first video we've discussed for AGT this season, it's time to have a reminder about this conversation of, I know one of the big criticisms of AGT is, it's not America's Got Stories. It should all be about the talent. But I think with singing in particular, a big part of it comes down to whether or not you connect to the person that is singing a song. Because I think there are probably thousands of brilliant singers in America alone that have incredible voices, but they're just kind of soulless in that they're just singers. There's nothing to get attached to there.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people in the comments talking about the winner that just won America's Got Talent, Idol, and Just Sam. And her voice is incredible, but for some reason, a lot of the commenters have been really upset about her winning, saying that she won because of her story. And I don't agree. I think that having the story along with a beautiful voice can separate you. There are so many singing shows. And then you have America's Got Talent, which also has singers. We just had a Bachelor singing show. Everything is singers. So you do have to have that story to go along with your voice to stand out these days.
In the end, people just want to root for you. They want to be able to know where you're coming from, why you are singing, what it is you bring to the table so that they can talk about you with other people, because odds are they have heard 1,000 singers in 2020 alone, and they have no reason to be like, hey, did you check out this one singer with a good voice? Because then the response will be, which one out of the thousands that I have seen so far?
Yeah, and the thing about Archie here is that he does have a very good voice, but he does remind me of Doug over on Idol, who we saw at the very beginning of that season, where he was a guy who had a really good voice, but it felt like he didn't know how to control it yet. He didn't know how to pull the power out of it yet. It felt like this beautiful diamond in the rough voice that once it had a little bit of coaching was going to be like a force to be reckoned with, and that's sort of giving me the same feelings here.
This is a situation of Archie's clearly a guy who's gone through a lot. I can't imagine that he has been able to spend much time in his life having any sort of vocal training, having any sort of real coaching as to how to get better. I mean, unfortunately, AGT's not really a show where you get like that in-house advisor who's going to really help you through, but sure, he does still have judges' feedback. I'm sure he gets production feedback. I think there is still a way he can improve as the season goes along, and I think some of it comes into choosing really good songs. I think Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is a very good song and very appropriate for him to sort of start off the show.
Yeah, I think song choice is going to be really important for him progressing in the competition. Continuing to open up and let us get to know him is also going to be really important to his movement in the competition. Yeah, he might get a little bit of help and coaching here and there throughout the process, maybe even with other singers in the competition. We saw that over on Idol, people playing together, singing together, just having that back and forth with other musicians. It's possible that that happens here too. Just because it's a competition doesn't mean that you can't sort of play back and forth with other singers or other acts.
This is really in sort of trying to project where Archie's going to end up this season. He's going to go through, we don't need to debate that. He's probably going to make it to the live shows or the live shows. I would love to think that maybe by the time, because usually they air in August, that maybe they can actually have a show where they're there in front of the judges. I don't imagine in a million years we're going to have a live audience at all this season.
No.
But I could see him going that far. Whether or not he is a finalist contender, I'm not willing to go there yet. I think we need to hear more from him, but if he does sort of get some coaching along the way, maybe work with some other people who are part of the show, make some connections, some of that stuff you're talking about, he can get better, he can improve. I'm not crowning him the winner, but I am crowning him someone that we should be talking about.
Yeah, and I think that, at least for me, with these shows, I really like seeing somebody improve as they go along. Like with Idol, there was Francisco Martin. He was someone who came on very nervous, had a struggle getting through that, and improved and improved and improved. And I like watching that journey of sort of the diamond in the rough getting better and better and better. It's exciting to watch.
Well, I think for now we are hopeful that Archie's going to have a good run on AGT. I'm excited about the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing what Sofia Vergara brings as a judge. I think she could be really fun. There's a lot of photos out there of a pig being on stage at some point. I want to see the pig act. Could someone give me a sneak peek of that?
I want to see the pig act at home. If we're going to be having the virtual at home, this is where AGT this season I'm very curious about, because it is one thing to have The Voice and Idol at home where you're singing in your living room, but I've been really curious, like, how is this going to work? You're a danger act. Are you going to be having, flamethrowers in the backyard? I'm very, very curious to see where we go with this.
Yeah, well, we will discuss all of this coming up throughout the season, but for now, what do you guys think about Archie's audition? Is he a contender in your mind? Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.